I'm back. I'm back to podcasting again. Welcome to Dare to Listen, where we gather for conversations about self-discovery, times of learning through great transformation, and our connections with the unseen. My name is Name, and I'm a self-awareness coach and human design enthusiast, experimenter, person who's done deep study, who now is bringing what I've learned forward to whomever wants to engage and learn together with how it all works. You might be some of the people who were with the original launch of Dare to Listen. That was out in the world between the years 2019 and 2021, and something was shifting in me, maybe in alignment with my human design, maybe not. I began to discover in myself the need for a sacred pause. And the whole point, if we were to drill it down to one thing with human design, is how do I feel resourced enough to be present as I'm listening to what's happening inside, internally, in my emotional world, in my spiritual world, in my physical body, in my mental thoughts. What's my capacity for listening? So, as 2021 was happening, you might remember the big event that everybody in the world was having an experience with. I began to sense the need to pause, the need to put Dare to Listen on a shelf. And here's where I want to bring in my human design. So let me first say that regardless of whether you've had a curiosity for human design, whether you've done your own deep study of learning about it intellectually and then bringing it into your daily experimenting through life mode, my hope is how I'm talking about human design, how I'm talking about any topic on the show, you feel invited to listen. And you might notice I'm in a forest. I'm in the Ski Valley area of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I don't imagine I'm going to be recording a ton out here because of needing connectivity over Zoom, etc. And who knows? I come to nature for the way that I can feel myself in my totality more accessibly. And I love nature. So here I might refer to astrology cycles. So astrology cycles could be referenced as Saturn return, Uranus opposition, Chiron return, second Saturn return, depending upon your age or progress through being a soul in a human body. And I know from my lived experience, the real clarity for how my Uranus opposition was so pivotal in reforming how it is that I was living my life. If you know the story or you've listened to the previous episode that discussed that, I was living in Chicago for 0 to early 40s. I was in a stable life. I had a loving partnership, solid relationships with family and friendships, and yet my spiritual inner side of knowing myself, there's more out there. There's more that's possible in this life, was calling me, was pulling me into a new configuration of my day-to-day life. And all I knew as it was starting And it happened to be starting on the early side, or maybe 6-9 months before the actual date of my Uranus opposition. As it was beginning to untether the threads or the rooted experience of living for so long in one place in Chicago, I felt inside a like, like an excitement for what's happening, what's happening, what's happening. And thankfully, I had that connection to that trust in both. I'm navigating this. I want this. I've been internally praying and asking for stepping forward into my fuller life, not knowing fully what that was. And here I go. I'm stepping. So I'll save the details for what changed my life or how the framework of my life shifted for a different conversation. Suffice to say, it was a launching point through many external supportive informations. Like I was in a reading and this woman said, I don't know why, but my guides are showing me you in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I was like, well, you don't say. I've never been there. Don't know anything about it. I think it's hot. I don't like hot weather. You know, all of that like mental factured ideas moving in and around my mental, my beliefs, my thoughts. And yet there was a place inside of me that could feel both the maybe fear or the pause of I don't know. However, as life continued to fold, there was a grounding, a noticing in my body that said, let's stay here. Let's stay with this idea. Let's see what happens. So in 2016, I took a trip to Santa Fe and then never left. And it's 10 years later. Here's another detail, friends. There's going to be a mix. There's going to be a mix of recording that looks like this. There's going to be a mix that's really polished, that's the audio quality is pristine, and everywhere in between. This is me as a third line. In human design, it's the experimenter. I got to try it. I got to see what happens. And what I've noticed, and maybe you've noticed this for yourself, when I'm in nature, it seems I can say anything. Like, I have tears feeling like I feel so clear. I feel so much available for me to resource and be able to articulate what it is that I want. Because y'all, I did this a couple of times in front of the Zoom camera with the screen behind me, blah, 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 my studio. And I was like robotic saying words, and that's not who I am. I don't want that to be the presentation or the way that you all experience me. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back, I'm back.